Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's from the Bleachers, broadcasting live here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
We welcome you into the show here on this Thursday, almost halfway through the month of April already. Tax day in 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days, 4 days?
It's
5
the
days?
18th.
Yeah, 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was right the first time.
Man, for so many years, it was always April 15th, unless it fell on a weekend.
And then COVID, it was like June.
And then it was, then things, and yeah. So, but it is April 18th this year for all of you who don't have it done yet. You got a couple more days, not the 15th. Actually go to the 18th.
Got a little bit of time. Well, of course, we welcome you into the show today. And Mark, I don't know about you, but today's been one of those days where I'm just running around like crazy. I've got a lot to do.
Well, you are an important person around here.
Oh, well, everybody's important in their own right. So,
Not everybody.
yeah, come on.
You are important.
I mean, I like to think I am.
Hey, not everybody can do what you do.
My mom
So
says
just
I'm
FYI.
important.
Yeah. Moms are supposed to say that though.
It's true. That's fair. We have a list of stuff that we're like, let's talk about this stuff today. I don't even know where we want to begin because we're kind of all over the board. A lot of stuff going on today. Maybe we start with some of the breaking news that's come out today. How about that?
Let's do it.
With the Washington Commanders sold the team.
Yeah, Dan Snyder is out, and I know that the Washington Commanders fans are ecstatic that Snyder is out. He was not a very good owner.
No. I think everybody is ready for that team to have some new ownership and hopefully take a new path. And you have people that are torn because this whole thing you had the whole name change thing going on in there. You also have the fact that they just haven't played well in years.
Yeah.
Coaches are in and out. Some of your better players are in and out, and I think Washington is ready for some new blood, especially in the front office.
Yeah, for sure. So it's led by Philadelphia 76ers co-owner Josh Harris. But also, now, what would you love to have attached to your name more? Would you like billionaire attached to your name? So billionaire Mitchell Rales is also part of this group. Every story that I've read, it says billionaire Mitchell Rales. Every story.
Maybe because there's not much else to attribute to it. It's just he owns a bunch of things. I don't know. You might know him, you might not, but let's just call him the billionaire that he is.
Billionaire. Yeah. And then, or would you rather have former NBA star Magic Johnson?
Well, here's what's funny. First off, billionaire. I'd rather have billionaire.
Me too.
I'm sorry, Magic, but I'd rather have billionaire. So on NFL.com in the article that they have, this is what they call it. So you tell me, which one would you rather have in front of your name here?
Okay.
Maryland businessman and philanthropist, Mitchell Rales.
Okay. I like billionaire a lot better,
Or
but okay.
NBA legend Magic Johnson.
See, that one I like the NBA legend better.
I like NBA legend better in this one.
Yeah, this story, billionaire or former NBA star.
Let's call him billionaire Mitchell Rales and NBA legend
There
Magic
you go.
Johnson. Just take the best of both worlds.
Magic Johnson is so funny. He is such an entrepreneur. It seems like he's always involved in ownership purchases for teams, whether it's
he's in and out of a
baseball, whether it's basketball, whether it's football. It seems like Magic Johnson's name is always attached to these proposals and bids. But anyways, but that looks like it's gonna go through. It hasn't been finalized and confirmed because it's got to be submitted and approved by all of the owners and such. But it sounds like it's a pretty close to done deal. For sure.
I just did a Google search because I was curious. I'm like, what franchises does Magic Johnson own? The first thing that pops up are the food franchises that he owns.
Yeah.
Which is a Burger King and a TGI Fridays.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly the answer I was looking for, but I was curious to see what else he has. He does have a partial ownership in the Lakers.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people probably already know that he does have a little bit of a thing there.
And I
But
don't know if he still has a partial ownership with the Dodgers or not. I
I don't
know
know.
he did for many years.
I don't know. I kind of want to look into it. So I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't quite done my full research on that yet. But yeah, yeah, I'm curious. I do know, like you mentioned, he does dabble with a lot of
Mhm.
different franchises, just getting his name in there,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing to do. You get in, you probably don't have to do much. You might have a say when they go to hire people. You might say, yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Right.
Who am I though? But yeah, I think that's a good choice. And outside of that, when they go to sell the team, then you might, in 20 years from now, when they get a
Mhm.
new owner, then you make a few $1,000,000 off of it.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Why not? If you had that kind of money, put into it. So yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, so like you mentioned, Dan Snyder is out. So the expected sale price on this, the price tag,
Yeah.
$6.05 billion, which is
Wow.
the highest in NFL history.
Mhm.
But then again, of course it is, because it that's just inflation for you. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just how business is done. Last year, the Denver Broncos, when they sold, it was a record then for $4.65 billion. So they're blowing it out of the water by about $1.5 billion. For which franchise would you rather own, though? Washington or Denver? Now, I know you don't like the Broncos. And even with that in consideration, which franchise would be the better one to own?
Washington.
You think so?
Yeah, there's more history there. I mean,
There's history in both.
there
But
is,
but I understand there's more history maybe 40 years ago with Washington.
with the Redskins and the Cowboys, that rivalry, was one of the best rivalries in football.
And even
And again,
through
I think the
90s,
name
I think in
change.
the 90s there was a decent rivalry
Oh,
there as
for
well.
sure there was.
So,
And
yeah.
the name change really kind of, for what, I mean, I know what reason it was, but it has taken away a little bit of that rivalry, because it used to be Cowboys and Indians. I mean, let's be honest. That's what
Yeah, that was
the
the
battle
idea.
was. But
And the fact that they were division rivals, they played each other twice a year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, but no, honestly, seriously, it would be the Washington franchise.
Yeah.
I just think there's just more there, it seems like.
Do you think
Does my hatred for the Broncos come into play? Yes, probably a little bit.
maybe a little?
But no, really, it's just stepping out. I think I really would prefer to own the Washington Commanders franchise.
Would you do something about the name?
Yeah, I probably would again.
Because let's be honest.
I'm not in love with it.
Let's be honest. There's no way they're ever going back to the Redskins.
No. They can't go back to the Redskins. I get that.
Because there's a reason they changed it from it in the first place. And I understand why they changed it from that. So that's beyond me. That's in the rear view mirror. I don't care about that. I don't love the Commander's name, and I don't know a lot of people that do. I don't know who they pulled on that name. In when they laid out all of the names and they said, "Hey, let's look at all of the names going on here for Washington for what we want it to be." How did Commanders end up on the top of that list?
That's a good question.
Because there were some really cool names in there.
There were better ones for sure.
And I'm trying to remember some, like, a lot of them were very much. I mean, it's for Washington D.C. A lot of them were very military based, or like your governmental
The
based.
Senators, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The commanders obviously being
Commander
more
in
like
chief.
commander in chief, or like commander of an army, that kind of stuff. There were some like the idea of like the Hogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could have gone down that path, which would have been cool. Anyways, I think there were way better options.
I agree.
So we'll see if the new ownership tries to take a left turn from Commanders. I don't know. It's hard because you just spent.
Well, you spent
Granted,
so
they
much
just
money
spent
in
so much money rebranding.
and the marketing and everything like that. It would be very difficult to do. Hopefully you got to trust that people will just the name will grow on them. It really hasn't me yet.
Not me either.
But, maybe in some time it will, but I'm not a fan. But I'm with you. I'm not for all of these name changes. I'm not. This one, though, was one that I was okay with.
Yeah.
Because that is the it is slander.
Sure.
I mean,
100% it is.
Redskin. It's not like the Indians, which I still don't know why that one was changed. That's not like derogatory. That's I could see where Redskins is derogatory. Indians, I just can't see where that's derogatory at all.
And I do.
Or if your school or the Braves, I mean, they're not.
Braves hasn't changed.
But there's been
talk.
But you take local schools.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
Bountiful Braves have changed their name to the Bountiful Red Hawks,
something like that.
Oh, I can't remember. Anyways,
it is something like that.
I tease my buddy all the time. Because he'll be like Braves forever, and I'll be like, Go Red Hawks or what? I can't remember what it is, but anyways,
I think it is something like.
But yeah,
that, though.
but things like that or Chiefs. I don't know. Those aren't derogatory. So I try not to.
Well,
I'm not Native American. I'm not Native American, so I don't know if it offends them or not. But from everything that I've read as well, is that it really doesn't.
And it depends on what it is. Like, for example, because I do have a friend that's Native, and I've talked to him about these things, and that's why I feel like I've been educated a little bit just from talking to someone who's a part of that community. So him being a Native American, I asked him, hey, what's your thoughts on some of these things? And he's like, yeah, sometimes you need to find where to draw that line between honoring the culture,
right,
and trying to, like I say, with the Redskins, it's like that wasn't honoring the culture. That was just saying, hey, let's basically be the Native Americans, but they went with the slang term at that time, which wasn't really a good slang term.
And I never, like, growing
across
up,
history,
growing up as a kid, with the Redskins and the Cowboys, I never, me personally, again,
most people wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't think of it as derogatory, but then once it's brought to your attention, you're like, oh, maybe.
Well, and
sure.
And like the Indians thing, like I have an understanding for that, right? Because really, Indians are people from India, not Native Americans, right?
Yeah.
Like it's called India over there,
right?
And it's been a name that I know a lot of Native people don't like, so I can understand that one as well. I know some people are indifferent to it. But, and that's the other thing, too, is I'm like, I get why they changed that one. And I also understand your side of it, too, of being like, I don't think they needed to. It's like, again, to me, like, hey, I'm about as wide as they come.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys need to ask me for my permission to do something because that doesn't affect me. Go talk to the people in that area that are natives, right? Go talk to them and say, hey, tell me how you feel about this. Do you feel like that it represents you in a positive or negative way? And if they say it's positive, great, keep it. If they say it's negative, okay, do something about it.
Who thought that we were going to be talking about the Redskins?
Not me.
But we did want to talk about Washington Commanders.
But
hey,
sometimes the conversation goes that way.
Okay, so I found a little information out on Magic Johnson.
Oh, let's do it. Let's get to it. What do we got?
So he is currently a co-owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Currently.
Okay, yeah.
Also owns LA's WNBA franchise, the Los Angeles Sparks.
You got to love the Sparks. Yep.
Major League Soccer team, the Los Angeles Football Club.
There's a lot of famous people that have ties to the Los Angeles Football Club.
The Los Angeles Football Club. Now, wait a minute.
If you look at the ownership, it's probably a list of 80 people. All of them have something to do with Hollywood, I swear.
So, but they can't come up with a more creative name? Football Club? That's like the Washington football team.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Soccer's weird like that.
Ugh. Another reason why, never mind. And then he owned a 4.5% stake of the Lakers from 94 to 2010. So he's no longer part of ownership of the Lakers.
All right. Okay, so that actually does make sense.
I did see though too that he had stake in Starbucks.
Really?
From like early 90s, and he sold in, I think it was 2010, out of Starbucks. How about a $100 million deal when he got out of that? He sold his stock, made $100 million. Wow. That's the rich getting richer.
I like that. I wouldn't mind $100 million, huh?
Jeez.
Hey, I got a few names here for you, and I want to know if you know who they are. These are all people that are partial owners of the Los Angeles Football Club. Okay,
Okay.
ready?
Okay, let's go.
Tell me if you know who some of these are. And I'm only going to give you the ones who I think you might know who they are.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
First off, Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Do you know who Will Ferrell
Big
is?
fan.
Yeah, okay. Nomar Garciaparra?
Oh, of course, Nomar.
Me-
He's the one that would not be able to survive with the new pitch clock.
That's probably true. Mia Hamm?
Of course, it's Nomar's wife.
That's true. Mia Hamm / Garciaparra.
Mhm.
I didn't want to throw that a second.
I know.
Magic Johnson,
Yeah.
of course. Let's see. Who else would you know here? Mitch Lasky? No. Tony Robbins?
Tony, is he the influential speaker? Tony,
Yeah.
is
That
that
guy.
who that is? Okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a bunch. There's
Okay.
there's a ton of them, and
No kidding.
and just a lot of old school Hollywood kind of people. Yeah, their ownership is just Hollywood lists of people that just live in LA.
Gotcha.
Very famous people, for the most part. Famous in their own circles. Some of these,
for sure.
But you throw in the Will Ferrells of the group, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. So yeah, that's an interesting one.
for sure.
Good old Magic Johnson, though, going to be partial owner. Well, is now partial owner of Washington Commanders, and I want to know what their first steps are going to be. What are they going to do to try to bring the team back into contention here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, as owners, they don't really do the day-to-day decision making, but they have to put the people in position to do those decision makings and be a part of those processes. I wonder who they, are they going to try to rearrange that front office a little bit? Bring in a new president or something like that. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, ownership does matter, though. Ownership does matter. When you have a good owner that's active, but not too active. Don't, hands-on, but not too hands-on like a Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is a little too over.
Or an Al Davis when he was the owner of the Raiders before he passed away. Rest in peace.
See, and I was actually just thinking Mark Davis is kind of in that point where he's kind of borderline.
Mark Davis does not interfere with football stuff, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he is out and about, but when it comes to football decisions, he does not weigh
he leaves that up to the GM.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. No question about it. Al Davis, his father, did not.
No, he would say, we're going to sign this quarterback.
So, yes, we're going to sign this receiver because he can run really fast.
And it'd be like, yeah, but he has no hands. But he's fast.
But he's fast. You can't teach speed.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy, though.
Yep.
You can't teach speed.
He won a Super Bowl or two.
He did. But yeah, so, you want that owner that is involved, but not too involved.
Yeah,
and so ownership matters. There's no question about it.
There's definitely this sweet spot for ownership where they have to be involved enough, but not too involved. And maybe it's one of those things where they get involved with the coaching hires,
right?
And that kind of stuff. But let the coaches do their on-field stuff. Let the GMs draft who they want to draft, and let the people who pay more attention to that kind of stuff, the day-to-day stuff, just let them do that side of the
right.
I don't know. So we'll see if Washington turns themselves around now.
You know what's weird?
What's that?
And we just had this discussion yesterday.
What's that?
I looked at my computer, and it says Thursday, April 13th at the top. I thought for sure today was Wednesday. We just talked about this yesterday.
Yes,
in fact,
did.
I don't know. I mean, our radio listeners didn't see me, obviously, because they can only hear me. I don't know if our YouTube watchers were able to, if they saw me, but I actually did check my watch to see what it said. And yes. So anyway, we just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
But I guess that is a pleasant surprise that it is Thursday when I thought it was Wednesday. That's a pleasant surprise that, one more day to Friday. But anyways,
you take that.
Just kind of funny. I was like, my computer is being weird. It's not Thursday. I looked at my watch. I'm like, oh, it is.
It is Thursday.
Anyway.
It is Thursday.
Just caught me off guard.
Which reminds me, before we get too far into it, of course, tomorrow we do have Region 10 baseball. So right here on the Fan Sports Network, we're broadcasting Pineview at Crimson. That's going on tomorrow. But, of course, there's a bunch of games going on across Southern Utah. So make sure that you tune in for that game here. But head on out to the ballpark if you can. Don't
discount that game either. I mean, that's going to be a good game.
Should be.
Couple
of good pitchers on the mound.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're going to be two really good hurlers on the mound. So for both teams, so that'll be an interesting team. Obviously, Crimson does have the advantage. I think they're a little deeper with arms.
Mm-hmm.
Their bats are a little more active. So I do see Crimson winning that game, but not like they won on Tuesday. I don't see that kind of a game. I think it was 20-7.
It was, yeah.
Was the final score. I don't see that kind of a game.
I could see it being like an 8-5.
8-3 or 8-5, something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
I don't see it being a Tuesday game. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I do know that Nash Schroeder's going to be on the mound for the Panthers, and he's a good pitcher.
He is a good pitcher.
So so keep an eye. I think you and Keith are going to a great game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun. You can watch that online on the fansportsnetwork.com. Listen to it right here on the radio as well. So lots of ways to catch the game. So, all right, let's take a break. More when we return on from the bleachers. So stick around.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports. Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Broadcasting live here on the Fan Sports Network. Listen in, of course, 99.5 or 95.3 here in St. George, 93.1 in Cedar, or you can watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page where we're broadcasting live. You can see our beautiful faces. Mark, I'm surprised you haven't pushed that rock star a little bit today, you know? You gotta get it in the shot there.
It's in the shot. Now, hey, speaking of drinks.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So as we know, the pitch clock has shortened MLB games this year down an average of 31 minutes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what they were trying to do. But this does affect something that you might not think that it affects. Now, I did already kind of preface this conversation with drinks.
Yeah.
Talking about beer.
Yeah. Now, they traditionally...
Have you seen this?
Yes, I have. Traditionally, they stopped sales at the 7th inning.
7th inning.
And they stopped selling beer sales so people can sober up before the end of the game and get home safely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few teams that have lengthened that now to the 8th inning.
I think Philly's one of them, right?
It is no, Philly is not one of them yet.
Okay, because I'm
They've
trying to
got
remember who I heard
The
talk
Arizona
about it.
Diamondbacks.
Maybe it was the Diamondbacks.
The Texas Rangers,
Okay.
the Minnesota Twins, and obviously the Milwaukee Brewers.
Duh.
They have extended to the 8th inning, and it does say here that there's a handful of teams that are going to probably follow suit very shortly. So, I did a little math.
Okay.
In New York, you can buy a beer for $12 at Dodger Stadium. It's around 10. At some other places, it was like 7. Okay. So let's just average $10. Seems to be kind of close.
All right. Yeah.
In 31 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
how many beers do you think would be sold?
In the whole stadium?
In the whole stadium.
Considering, let's say on average, I'm going to do math here. Live on air. Ready for this?
Okay.
All right. Considering on average, let's say you have a good turnout of people, average turnout of people, like 30,000 people are
30
there.
to 40,000. Sure.
We'll give it an even 30,000. Of those 30,000, the people that are drinking, let's go 10,000.
I was going to go
kids,
28,532.
Yeah, but you have a lot of kids. You have people who don't drink. Like
I know, I'm
I'm
just
thinking
kidding.
it's probably
I'm
going to
just
be on
kidding.
the lower side. We'll go 10,000 people
Okay.
that do drink.
Okay.
And in those 30 minutes, some of them are buying 2. Some of them might buy
Dude,
1. Some of them, I see
when
some
I'm at
people
Dodger
double
Stadium,
fisting.
they're coming back double fisting all the time.
Yeah. So I would say
All the
probably of those 10, half of them are like, last call, I got to go get another drink.
Yeah.
Some of them are probably like, I'm good. So I'll say they sell a good like 7,000 to 8,000. If you have 5,000 of them going back, some of them going back for 2.
Well, that changes my math a little bit. I just went really conservative with 1,000.
Yeah, and that could be fair. I'm going very liberal.
and I know it was very conservative. However, at 1,000, and it was $10. That's $10,000 of revenue because the games are shortened.
So let's say I went with 5,000. You're losing 50,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot.
So this is my next point. This leads perfectly into the next point. Now, they used to do it. They did that because, like you had mentioned before, safety. They want people to kind of maybe have a Dodger dog or have some nachos and kind of sober up a little bit before they hit the road.
Right.
So now you're telling me that they're going to the 8th inning. Okay, so they've lengthened the time. That game could be over in 6 outs.
Yeah.
Which is 20. It could be 20 minutes. So safety is not their number one concern. It's just not. Safety is not their number one concern. The old mighty dollar is. They're lengthening it to get more sales, but yet that game can be over in 20 minutes. 6 more outs, and that game could be over.
The average inning lasts about 15.
Okay, so 30 minutes.
So
maybe a little bit longer.
So, and that's plus or minus,
Sure.
obviously. 15 to 20.
But that's what I'm saying, though. They make it sound like, oh, we do this for safety. That's our number one concern. No, it's not. No, if your number one concern was safety, you'd still leave it at the 7th inning.
Yeah.
But now they're seeing all these dollars that they're missing out on of 30 minutes of beer sales.
Right. There's something I saw on Twitter, and I wonder if I can dig it back up. Usually when I find these things, I try to like them so that they can be in my likes. But for some reason, Devin logged me out, and I'm in his, not in mine.
Devin.
Gosh dang it, Devin. So now I have to log into my account. But anyways,
that dude's always tweeting.
I know he is. He got on my Google Chrome account, logged into his, and logged me out. Devin. So now I can't even look on my own Twitter. So, anyways, yeah, I saw something from one of the players who was kind of upset about this. So I'll paraphrase since I can't pull up the actual quote.
Yeah.
They basically said that, again, with the safety thing being an issue, he's like, look, I want the fans to get home safe. I'd rather them get home safe than anything else. Like, that's the number one priority. He's like, with the games now being shorter, if anything, they should move it to the 6th inning.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's his thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, again, who said that.
That's interesting
It was with the Phillies. Okay, so here it is.
That's an interesting thought. I like that.
So it was Matt Stram. Matt Stram with the Phillies. This is what he said.
Nice hair.
He does have nice hair.
Yeah, a lot.
Matt Strom with the Phillies. He says, the reason we stopped selling alcohol in the 7th before was to give our fans time to sober up and drive home safe, correct? So now with a faster paced game, if the game is going to finish quicker, would we not move the beer sales back to the 6th inning to give our fans time to sober up and drive home? Instead, we're going to the 8th. And now you're putting our fans and our family at risk driving home with people who have just drank beers 22 minutes ago.
Dude, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It makes
You're
sense.
exactly right. They're extending it to the 8th inning. But yes, with the pitch count, the innings are faster. So they've lengthened it to closer to the end of the game in the 8th inning, not the 7th. So 7th, they moved it to the 8th inning. But yet with the pitch clock, the innings are quicker now. So that way it gets shortened as well.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, you leave it at the 7th inning, or that actually makes sense. It does.
It really does make sense. And this is coming from somewhere where I don't care if you go out and you have a drink at a ball game.
Oh, heavens no, me neither.
I don't care, right?
Me neither.
But
I
also care that you are driving home sober.
Exactly.
I care more that you're driving home sober than you are having fun at a game.
Because that's when we're on the road together.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to go
that's when it affects me.
If you want to go to a game and have some drinks with your friends and with your family,
totally
by
agree.
all means.
Absolutely.
But when it comes time to leave that stadium, you are not driving home drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
There is no excuse for that.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It really does. It really, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. You add that up, right? You have a chance for over 80 ball games at home, and you times 80 by the we'll split in between us, and we'll go $25,000. Okay, $25,000 extra beer sales that they're losing out on. That number adds up a lot.
It does.
Right? That's
it does.
a lot of dollars that they would be missing out on if they move it back. But can those dollars ever cover the cost of an injury, or say even if it came to someone maybe losing their life because someone drove home drunk that day from their ball game? What's more important?
Like I said, that does make a lot of sense. I never thought about that way. I was thinking of it just the one way of they're going to the 8th inning. Innings are shorter.
The money part, right? Yeah,
but it is. It's the money part. It's all about the dollar.
It is. And that's what's funny. You look at the comment section of this tweet, it's tweeted by ESPN, by the way.
What are some of those comments? That's what I'd love to see.
You have some comments. The top comment just says, he's not wrong. And he's not wrong. You have one person that says it takes 2 hours to get out of the Dodger Stadium parking lot anyway, so you'll be fine sobering up.
You know what? Everybody complains about getting out of Dodger Stadium. I got to tell you, I've never had a problem. I don't know if I just get lucky,
just find the right spot.
But I've never,
out in 10 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, 15-ish.
20, yeah.
We walk out to the car, we get in line, and we're gone. Even my cousins and everybody that live down in SoCal, they would always say, "Oh, go to an Angel game. It's much easier to get out of the parking lot and all that kind of stuff."
You get out of an Angels game parking lot in 30 seconds.
You don't want to get stuck in Dodger Stadium. It's horrible. I've never had a problem. So, anyways, but that's true. But that's funny. That is funny.
One of them says he's not wrong, but money always trumps health. Unfortunately,
it does. That's a true statement.
So, there's a lot. Let me see if there's any others that in here that are really good. This one's interesting. I think they kind of thought of it backwards, though. They're saying how it's a fan's responsibility to manage their own consumption, and restricting the sales, and with the new pitch clock allows less time to sober up, obviously. And it's
you
just
can't
like,
put that on the fans.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but once you've had a few drinks, in some of these, let's be honest, you have some people that can't control their alcohol.
No,
they can't.
absolutely not.
And they need someone else to cut them off.
Absolutely. You can't put that in the hands of the fans. That's like, there's rules in place, even in athletics, to protect the athlete from themselves. So like the concussion protocol, like other protocols that they have, an athlete, a competitor will tell you, oh, hey, Caden, how you feel? Oh, I feel good, coach. Your head's moving back and forth. Your eyes are wampus. I feel good, coach. So again, there's rules in place to protect people from themselves, because you're a competitor. You'd want to get back in there for your team.
Yeah.
Or you're a drinker. You enjoy an adult beverage. Again, no judgment here.
No, not at all.
And, go ahead. But yeah, you can't put it in the fans' hands.
No.
Fans' hands.
Yeah, and what's funny, you look at looking at some of the comments, you do have those comments of people being like, well, yeah, how do you expect them to make their money? You're shortening the amount of time people can buy beer by 45 minutes. And it's like, that's not the point he's getting at, though.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was talking about, well, if you extend it through the 8th inning, it's about the same time from gates open to last call.
And that's what they're going off of.
And
yes.
it's like, that's not the point. It's the amount of time from last call to last out.
Getting into the vehicle.
Yes.
And So, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they're going from...
Which section do you want to look at?
Yep, exactly.
And right now they're looking gates open to last call.
last call.
They want that to remain the same, not last call to last out.
I don't have a problem with the teams doing this. Well, maybe a little. But just don't come out and say, we do that for fan safety.
Yeah.
Don't come out and tell me that's first priority.
That's not true, though. That's
exactly.
Right. They're not.
So,
yeah.
It's all about the dollar.
Speaking of MLB, I want to switch gears for just a half a second here. 3 teams left that have won all of their series they've played in so far.
I saw that, yeah.
One of them is obviously Tampa.
And I got some stuff on Tampa when we get done with this.
Yeah, now Tampa, of course, starting their season off without losing so far.
Undefeated.
Undefeated season. New York was the other one, and Arizona, the Diamondbacks, were the other one that have not lost a single series.
And, they've played the Dodgers.
They've played good teams.
They've played the Dodgers twice? 2 series?
Have they?
Or maybe the Dodgers played the Rockies 2 series. I can't remember. All I know is that for the first 3 series, I couldn't watch the Dodgers because they were playing the Rockies and the D-backs, and those are blacked out here.
It's true. It's true. So looking at it right now, just pulling up their schedule, they have played. So they started with the Dodgers.
Yeah, so
obviously.
it is the Dodgers.
It was Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers again.
Yeah.
And the Brewers.
So they have played.
And the Brewers, by the way, were the top of their division until they played the Diamondbacks. I don't know if they still are.
That's what I'm saying. They've played 3 difficult teams, 4 difficult series.
The Brewers are still on top of their division. So they've played some of the best teams in those divisions.
They've done
great.
They have played 3 of the top 5 projected teams in the National League.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I hate that we're in a blackout market for Arizona, because I actually wouldn't mind watching some of their games with how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in a blackout market, and we don't get their TV deals.
Now the Diamondbacks,
kind of a double whammy,
or the Rays, their competitors, they're not as strong. It's not nearly as impressive.
That is true.
They've played the Tigers, the Nationals, the A's, and the Red Sox. All losers.
Yeah,
they're all losers.
It's not,
but still 13-0. They've won today, so now they're 13-0. And even to do that is against those teams is still quite impressive. I mean, not running up against a hot pitcher or a player that is just swinging a hot bat, even for a bad team. When you play bad teams, if it's a 4-game series, you win 3 of 4.
Yeah.
Or 2 of 3. But these guys have swept all their series. So that in itself is pretty impressive. Now, here are some win streaks to begin seasons, okay?
Okay.
And this is what they did. with that. The Atlanta Braves in 1982, they won 13 straight games to open up the season.
Mm-hmm.
They finished their final record at 89-73, and they lost in the NLCS. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Milwaukee Brewers in 1987, they won their first 13 games. They ended up with a 91-win season, 91-71. They missed the postseason. Now, granted, back then they didn't have wild cards and stuff like that. So,
Sure.
but they did miss the postseason. In 1981, the Oakland A's, they won 11 straight. They finished 64-45. It was a shortened strike season, and they lost in the ALCS. Okay, we're going back now a little bit. In 1955, the Brooklyn Dodgers, they won 10 straight games to open up that 1955 season. They ended up with a record of 98-55-1, and they won the World Series.
There you go.
Okay. Pittsburgh Pirates in 1962. Yes, there was a time when the Pirates were a machine, but that was back in the 60s and 70s. 1962, they won 10 games in a row. Their record was 93-68. They missed the postseason. Again, that was, you had one division winner. You had an NL West and an NL East, and you had two play for the NLCS. And if you weren't, there's no wild cards.
Yeah,
saying.
you just had to be the best.
And then the Cleveland Indians in 1966, they also opened up with 10 games. They finished 81-81 and missed the postseason as well. So,
Wow.
Just because the Rays have won 13 in a row against 4 bad teams doesn't guarantee them, a season of success. However, I would much rather be 13-0 than 10-3 or 11-2 or 12-1. So
you got to take what you
hats
can
off to him. Going 13-0, even playing crappy teams, is still an accomplishment for sure. And you know what?
100%.
It's not their fault. They play who the schedule tells them they're going to play.
Yeah.
So
And they might just end up being, by the end of the season, a mediocre team
now they
that
do
might miss the playoffs.
Their
You
next
don't know.
series is the
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be a test.
It will. And Blue Jays are playing well. They're 8-4, which is it's tied right now for second with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Of course, the Rays are on top of that division. So it should be a pretty good series there. I think the Blue Jays will give them their first loss. I mean, I would expect them to. So we'll see. Right now, by the way, and again, early in the season, so take this with a grain of salt. Leading the divisions, you have the Rays, you have the Twins, and you have the Angels. Those are all of your American League leaders right now. The Rangers are really close. They're technically have the same record as the Angels, but for whatever reason, Angels have that tiebreaker at number 1. You have Braves, Brewers, Diamondbacks. Out of all of those teams that are leading, I would say of the 6, 2 of them I had as possibilities. That's it.
Yeah.
The Twins were one of those where I'm like, hey, you never know with that division. Twins are one that I'm okay with that, and the Braves.
Right.
The Braves. Outside of that, I thought for sure it'd be the Cardinals. I thought it'd be the Dodgers or the Padres.
Yeah, and they're both just one game behind.
Yeah, they're close. I thought it'd be Houston. And I thought it'd be New York, honestly.
It makes everybody smile, though, that Houston's starting off rough.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The most hated team in America. That used to be held by the New York Yankees, not anymore.
No, I don't mind the Yankees anymore. Is that weird?
I kind of don't either, and I'm a Dodger fan, and they've always had fierce rivalry back in the World Series times, but I'm kind of the same way.
With the Yankees, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really...
Because I like
they're
Aaron Judge. I
like Rizzo. I like Judge.
Yeah.
I like Stanton. I mean, I like Garrett Cole. There's a lot of
There's
guys
some
on the
guys
team
on there that I like. Me too.
So, it's weird. It feels weird to say that, but I just don't like Houston. I really don't like Houston. And the cheating scandal obviously was what pushed that for me.
Yeah.
And since then, and again, them winning and being a good team is always the mark of a team that you're going to dislike, right? If they're not your team and they're winning, you don't like them.
Speaking of teams I dislike, the Dodgers won 2 of 3 from the Giants.
That's good.
They won last night
take
10-5. So
you'll take that.
good stuff.
Good start to the season so far. Good start. Hey, let's take a break. More when we come back. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports. Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
All right, Mark, let's start things off with a little bit of news for our Utah Tech fans. Isaiah Pope from Utah Tech basketball team has transferred.
Okay.
And he is going to be a Fresno State Bulldog.
Really?
Yeah, that news just dropped today. He dropped it on his Twitter. So,
wow.
I mean, congrats to him for sure,
for sure.
For being able to kind of move up the D1 ladder a little bit from the WAC to a Mountain West school. And it's definitely different competition. Probably slightly better competition.
Yeah,
sure,
I would think so.
than what's in the WAC over to the Mountain West. So, congrats to him for being able to find a way to continue to move on in his career.
Pretty cool.
So
was he a junior or what was he? Sophomore?
Sophomore, junior.
Sophomore?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, it was definitely. I know he was there the year before. I'm trying to remember if he was there previous to that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either.
But anyways, he's moving on. Moving on from Utah Tech. So.
Hey, so we were talking about those teams that started 13-0 baseball wise.
Yeah.
And I just want to expand on that just for a second or two. The 1982 Braves that we talked about, Dale Murphy led Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
You know, they won their first 13 games, and then the streak was immediately followed by a 5-game losing streak.
Okay.
So, they went that. Then they won 5 of their next 6 to get to 18-6. And then some very weird sequencing. They went 9-14 to finish May with a 27-20 record. Atlanta then put up a losing record after the All-Star break and finished, like I said before, 89-73. Here's even a stranger one, though. The other team, the 1987 Brewers, led by Robin Yount. You know that name?
I can't say that I do.
Okay. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame.
All right.
Anyways, they lost 1 game before another winning streak, this time of 4 games. Okay.
Okay.
So they were 20-3 before this. They went on a 12-game losing streak. 12 games after you just won 13.
Yikes.
And 20-3. They went on they lost 12 in a row and 18 of 20. So the Brewers were 22-21 after all that. Anyways,
Yeah,
I thought that
good.
was pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
So
Yeah, it's not good. Well, I don't know. It's
I hope
telling.
that doesn't happen to the Rays. I'm just saying
Yeah,
this is what's happened to other 13-0 teams.
it is pretty telling, though.
Yes.
It is pretty telling.
And I could actually see that happening. I haven't looked at the Rays forward, the Rays schedule looking forward, but my goodness, if you've got they're playing the Blue Jays now. If you got the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and some other teams, even the Astros who aren't playing very well, but if they've got those teams lined up, I could see something similar because, again, the Rays' 4 competitors are not good baseball teams. But again, it's still an accomplishment to go undefeated your first 4 series of the season.
Right.
Still an accomplishment, even if they're bad teams.
Right. So speaking of the Rays, real quick. So yesterday we had the big news about Salt Lake making a big push for an MLB team.
Yeah.
Along with that, there's now more conversation about, okay, well, what are you going to do with these teams like Oakland, for example, that they just need to get out of Oakland, right? Well, there is some conversation around the Rays and where they're at because they want a new stadium. Let's be honest, the stadium they have is one of the ugliest. What's funny is Oakland.
Isn't that Tropicana?
Yep. You have Oakland, which I always still call the Coliseum. I don't know.
Me too.
It's
Me too. I
changed
call
a
it that.
billion names. It's the Coliseum for all I care. And then you have Tropicana, which are consistently ranked 29 and 30 on like your favorite lists of favorite ballparks. It's always the bottom 2.
Yeah.
Those 2 are always the bottom 2.
Right.
Because they're just not good.
Yeah.
And they need new homes. Here's the thing, though, is right now in Florida, they're having a hard time trying to find a spot to move them to. They want to keep them in Tampa, but they're having a hard time. Things have progressed to where it looks like they'll still stay in Tampa, but nothing is set in stone. A lot of people are saying the Rays should leave Tampa and go somewhere else.
Like to Nashville.
Like to Charlotte, something like that, right? So does the team having success, and right now I know it's early success, but let's say they can somewhat keep this up and make a good playoff run. Would that help keep them in Tampa?
It would. Absolutely.
Because maybe investors are more willing to be like, we need this here.
Yeah, for sure.
These guys are successful.
For sure.
They're bringing money into the community.
If they take a dive and they end up, winning 40 games or whatever the case might be, if they tank the season after starting 13-0 or they have some horrible seasons, absolutely they'll probably be on their way out. But yes, if they have a successful season, maybe get into the playoffs. Playoffs? But yeah, if they get into the playoffs, then that bodes well for them staying in Florida and staying in Tampa Bay.
So there was an article published it was on CBS Sports back in January of this year. Basically, it's saying that the mayor of St. Petersburg, which is where they're at in the Tampa area, has said that yes, we want them to stay. We have an idea for a new site. Their new building would seat about 30,000 people, so it'd be a smaller park. I mean, that's
okay.
That's a pretty small park, but they're trying to do what they can to keep them there. They're like,
right.
We know we don't have the most money in the world right now to spend on a ballpark, but we'll give you a new ballpark. It might not be the exact one you guys are hoping for.
And there's teams that don't bring in the type of attendance that the Dodgers and the Giants and the Yankees do.
Yeah, you're not expecting the 60,000
yeah,
people.
and the two Florida teams are two of those teams, Miami and Tampa Bay. They don't have the best attendance in baseball, not even close. So why not build a more intimate stadium? Very similar to the Raiders Allegiant Stadium. Why not build a more an intimate stadium and put more people in it and make it nice? People want nice, is
People
what they
do.
want.
Looking
Nice
at
and new.
their average attendance last season
Yeah.
was just shy of 14,000 a game.
Then a 30,000 is,
Half the seats still aren't filled.
yes.
So now this season might be different because they're off to such a hot start.
I still think 30,000 would be a nice stadium.
Back in 2009 was their highest on average season
yeah.
for attendance, and it was 23,000.
Perfect.
So
30,000 would
and
be
that's
perfect.
average. You could sell out 30,000 and it would be perfect. Like that's wonderful. So if you're going 30, that's really not bad.
They don't have an argument to do more.
No, because
Numbers.
I mean, here's the thing: the Dodgers are out there. The Dodgers, Giants, the Yankees, the Cubs, the whatever. Right? Yeah, those guys are out there selling 40,000.
Yeah.
But that's because they're the franchises with really large fan bases that extend like crazy. So
We're up against the clock.
we are up against the clock. Let's head to a break. We'll be back at the top of the hour. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports. Welcome back in, everybody. It's from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Now, over on our Facebook page, just posted it. Yesterday, we spent a long time talking about our thoughts with all of this news about the MLB coming to Utah, coming to Salt Lake. And
Exciting news. That's exciting news.
It is such great news, exciting news. I think a lot of us didn't realize that anybody was really working on this behind the scenes. I don't think any of us thought of it as maybe even a possibility.
I didn't.
I mean, I had always hoped for, I always thought baseball would do well in Utah. I know
And
you're
see,
a little
I'm a little more skeptical because it's a lot of games and it's not filling up whatever the Jazz Arena is called now. What is
Delta Center soon.
Oh yeah, it's
On
going
July,
back to Delta
on July
Center. That's
1st,
right.
It's
That's
Delta
right.
Center.
That I'll remember. I'll be able to remember
Yeah,
that
you
one.
can get that.
What's the attendance there? 20,000?
Just shy of that, like 18 something.
It's just
18
so
plus.
much different. I mean, with baseball,
But they sell out 18,000 every single game.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. They
or
do.
at least close to it, right? They're filling that arena up every game
I
very
know.
well.
I know. I'm just a little skeptical. I am very excited about it because I love baseball, but I'm just a little skeptical
So
if
here's
we
the
can
thing.
support it.
I think you just have this Dodger fan mindset, Mark. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because Dodger fans are very supportive of their team. And I would hope that a new team in Salt Lake would be that supportive. But you also need to take into consideration all of the other teams in the MLB. Really, they're averaging like 15,000.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Well, certainly the ones that we've been talking about recently, which is the two Florida teams, Oakland, that kind of stuff.
But even teams like Kansas City and Cincinnati.
But that's the thing, and Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
That's the thing too is build a stadium that's a little more quaint, a little more intimate. Build a 25 to 30,000 MLB stadium. Don't build a Dodger stadium of 50,000 or what have you, but build something a little bit smaller, a little bit more quaint. And
if you could, I would even build a 40 to 50,000 stadium.
For some reason, to me, I think 30 to 35,000 is the sweet spot.
I'm looking at average attendance per game.
For who?
Just the MLB in general.
Mm-hmm.
And average is right around high 20s, low 30s.
Mm-hmm. That's a 35,000 seat stadium.
Yeah. Like,
unless you've got other plans for it, like.
And you can maybe make it expandable where it's like, hey, we're gonna leave right field open, or if we want to throw in 5,000, 10,000 more seats.
Something like that too. Yeah, for the future,
just,
see how it goes.
Yeah.
But if you're going to turn it into another venue for other stuff too, you can think about that, whether it's the fireworks show or whatever, concerts, that kind of stuff. So, you've got that as well. But for some reason, that 30 to 35,000 is just, I think, the sweet spot. I think that would be a magnificent stadium for the Wasatch Front and for a Utah baseball team.
Yeah, I think it could be fun.
Because that's what we're thinking about Tampa Bay, too. I think that would be a perfect idea for Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So yesterday we had a big conversation on this, and I just wanted to let our listeners know that if you want to go back and listen or watch that, we just posted on our Facebook page just the clip of us talking about that. It's about 25 minutes. We went off for quite a while. So you can go watch that and get our thoughts on what we said yesterday. And I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing conversation as well. So this isn't something that we're going to stop talking about, because this really is just the beginning of professional sports, professional baseball in Utah. There's going to be plenty more things that are going to start rolling out over the next few months, I feel like.
Yeah, what's exciting is not only are we getting this stuff in Utah, Salt Lake area, but we're also getting it in Las Vegas. Just a short, I can't remember, when did the Golden Knights have their inaugural season? 5 years ago?
Yeah, like 2017.
Something
like that.
So
let's just go. I'm wearing my Golden Knights shirt today.
I know, I saw that. So let's just say 7 or 8 years ago, there was no pro sports team in Las Vegas at all. Now they've got, well, if you count the WNBA, they got 3. But, they got an NFL franchise, they've got an NHL franchise, and talking about MLB franchise there too. And then just up by 15, we're talking about getting more pro sports. So, we're not right in the middle, but we're in the middle of those two places. And
Yeah.
you'll have some choices to attend some pro sports, and I think that's exciting.
I think so. Yeah, I agree.
You know what else I think is exciting?
What's that?
You like jerky?
Yeah, that's off subject. Yeah, I do.
Do you like Doritos?
Yes, I do.
Do you know that they have a Doritos flavor now that tastes like beef jerky?
I will have to try that.
They partnered with. I knew I'd kind of sneak this in somehow.
Yeah, you got to get it in there somehow. I know you like to talk about food. You'll take every chance you can get.
Frito-Lay's, they partnered with Jack Link's, one of the best jerky brands out there. They partnered with Jack Link's for a new flavor that's supposed to taste like spicy sweet chili Doritos. So Doritos flavored beef jerky is now a thing. It exists, and I believe it's in stores. Everything that I'm reading.
So it's not jerky flavored Doritos, it's Dorito flavored jerky.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to get that straight in my head. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie. I would eat both.
Yeah, I would too.
Dorito flavored jerky or jerky flavored Doritos.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it all sounds good to me.
Yeah, because it's supposed to taste like their spicy sweet chili Doritos.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the way, I pulled up something here.
Okay.
The smallest MLB park is Cleveland's.
Okay.
34,800.
That's the sweet spot. 30 to 35,000.
That's the smallest.
Right.
I would go for around 40. There's
No,
plenty.
30 to 35 is perfect.
No, there's tons with around 40. So around 40 you have. Okay, so let me just go from the bottom up.
But I'm not totally convinced that we are a baseball market that can
Now, in the beginning,
support that.
it's going to be the novelty, and it's going to be really expensive, and everyone's going to go to games.
Because you don't want it to look like Oakland where there's just a spattering of fans in there.
There's 9,000 people, but because it seats 80,000,
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, that is actually the biggest stadium capacity-wise with 56,000. Here's the problem. It probably could seat more, but they always... You know how up at the very top they cover up all
I know
those
they did that
seats?
for Raider games.
Yeah,
but
they still do.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of a permanent fixture now. There's seats underneath it. No one sits there because why would you ever need it? Right? That is the largest one. Dodger Stadium's next with 56,000. Anyways, you do kind of have this sweet spot of low 40s, like from the Mets Stadium, which holds 42,000, just shy, 41,900. Then you go all the way to, let's see, you go all the way down to Pittsburgh, which is high 38,000. That's a gap of about 13 ballparks in between all of that. So 40,000 is pretty average. Now, you could go on the low end for a new stadium in Salt Lake and go like you say, 37,000.
But see, I think it would be very
low.
I think it'd be very enticing to sell more tickets because of a smaller stadium. Like when we go to the Las Vegas Aviators, we go to Las Vegas Ballpark.
Yeah,
What's the thing that we say? It's intimate. It's so nice, and it is
seat in
newer.
the
There's not a
house.
bad seat in the house. And I believe with that kind of an approach when you sell tickets and that size of a stadium, I think it will do better than if you had a 45,000 seat stadium and there are bad seats in the house. Anyway, there's just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's fair. And they really do have not a bad seat in the house.
At Las Vegas Ballpark.
yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm dying to go to another game. What's funny is it's Aviators and Bees right now. So
Oh,
you have
yeah.
Salt Lake and Las Vegas going on. And there's just this part of me that's like, man, I can't wait for the Salt Lake, Las Vegas to be MLB teams. Maybe in 10 years. Maybe.
I hope it's in my lifetime.
I feel like it could happen sooner than we think. Anyways, now I'm just craving
I agree.
jerky.
Hey. That's why I say stuff that's why I say the stuff that I do.
Yeah, I know you do. Should we switch things up a little bit? We've talked a lot of baseball.
As we should, since it's the best sport in the world.
I'm not saying we're gonna get off of baseball, but let's go a little more local. Region 10 baseball is tomorrow. Region 10 softball tomorrow. Soccer, all of that going on tomorrow. We're going to be at, and by we, I mean me and Keith.
The Fan Sports Network.
The Fan Sports Network. We are going to be at the Crimson Cliffs and Pineview game. It's at Crimson Cliffs High School. We're going to be over there. But there's other great games going on. Hurricane and Dixie. and we have Cedar Snow Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I believe it's at Hurricane and at Cedar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I think that's
I
correct.
do know that it's at Cedar, and I am really, really close to being positive that it is at Hurricane.
I think it was at Dixie on
I do
Tuesday,
too. I think that
if I
as well.
remember
And that was a close game for the first 4 innings.
It's actually a really good game. Yeah.
So hey, you get the Flyers out to Hurricane, get them out of their comfort zone a little bit and see how the Tigers can play out on their home field.
Yeah.
The start tomorrow for the Snow Canyon Cedar game is obviously a 3:00 start. So that game will be in session while we do our show tomorrow in the 4:00 hour.
Now, there is something a little confusing, so I want to make sure this is correct. Now, the game at Crimson should be a 7:30 start.
7:30 start.
Des News says it's 5:30. So if you're looking at Des News and you see 5:30, just remember it's not.
I
It's
can't imagine
7:30.
that being the case.
Yeah, Game Changer says 7:30. Max Prep
Yeah.
says 7:30. Everywhere else,
7:30.
but Deseret News says it's 5:30.
Typo.
Just a reminder, it's 7:30.
Mhm.
If you happen to see that there. So, yeah. Softball, same schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that's easy to remember and keep
Sure
track
helps.
of.
Sure helps me out.
Doesn't it though? It's that's one of those things I kind of wish was the same for other sports.
I know.
when they're
I
on the
know.
same night.
Or at least playing in the same week or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just to at least be like, oh yeah, we know it's going to be decent. No, basketball's kind of that way. It's just flip flopped, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, it's
Well, they do the same schedule
through the
first
week.
half through the second half,
Yeah,
but you just swap the home and away.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It'd
But
be
why don't they do that though? Do the home
Like
and away that same week.
Dixie at Desert Hills on Thursday, and then Friday is Dixie at Desert Hills.
Yeah. Why don't they do
Same
it the
thing.
baseball way? So
Don't know.
Huh.
That is a great question. I really don't know
The home
answer
and
to that
away.
question. Anyways, soccer schedule for tomorrow. Crimson Cliffs is going to be at Snow Canyon. Desert Hills is at Dixie. Hurricane is at Pineview. So that is your soccer schedule for tomorrow as well. Not sure where track meets are this weekend.
I don't either.
I don't know much about track when it comes to schedules. I can get results really easily. Can't get schedules very easily. So.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at either.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where we're at right now on the local stuff.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And we talked about yesterday, man. It's coming to an end very quickly. After this week, after tomorrow, there's only 3 weeks of regular season baseball and softball left.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
It's really going to come down to it fast.
Crazy.
I know I'm even pulling up the Utah Tech schedule here,
Mhm.
and
Hey, they're in town this week, by the way.
They are. They still have a little bit of time left here. So they
Mm-hmm.
on let's see. On Monday, where am I looking? Monday of next week they have a one-off at UVU. But
Okay.
before that, yes, they are home against Sam Houston Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I'm trying to plan on going to the Friday night game when you're doing the Crimson game. That's where I'm trying
You're gonna
to
be over
I'm-
at,
I'm- yeah,
at
I think-
Brucehurst.
Yeah, I think so. As long as the weather holds up. We've really become used to sitting in the booth. So
and it has to be a certain weather for
yeah,
sure.
it really kind of does, man.
But Sam Houston has a pretty good overall record right now. They're 20-14.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be a challenge for Trailblazers. See if they can pull off a win here against them coming up this weekend.
Yeah, that'll
starting
be
tomorrow.
fun. Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of good baseball going on.
Brucehurst Field is a great place to watch some baseball. So get out there this weekend, and especially those day games.
Yeah.
It should be fantastic to watch some Trailblazer baseball, and you can watch some local kids.
Yeah.
I love going. I love going there and watching baseball.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
fun.
do.
Softball's out of town. They're at Grand Canyon
Okay,
this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
that's good to know because
Friday doubleheader, and then Saturday.
that's good to know because that way I can park
You can park behind the
behind the softball,
softball
field.
field.
Yeah, so I don't get
Yeah.
foul balls.
Yeah, that's one downside sometimes to college baseball. It's just you do get to park really close to the field. It's great.
Oh,
But you got to watch out for those foul balls.
not just college baseball. That's all baseball. We were at Pineview last year or 2 years ago, and a foul ball was hit and landed on one of the cars, and we just turned around. It's like, rookie mistake. Must be a parent of a freshman or something.
Yeah, I'm leaving those parking spots
you
as
don't
open
park.
as possible. Well, like even Snow Canyon, right, where the closest parking is right behind the left field wall.
Yeah, home runs could.
But
It'd have to be
even
a blast.
yeah, it'd be a good home run.
But
even that,
Dixie-
it's like, ugh.
Dixie's in foul ground. You can park in foul ground there. So
100%
you
you
got to
can.
be careful there. Desert Hills, not so much.
No,
Pine
Desert
View,
Hills is pretty
yes.
far away.
We talked about Hurricane, yes. So yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta strategically park, and at Utah Tech, yes.
And at Utah
So
Tech,
you've
yes.
got to strategically park your vehicle. Like I always will put my back window towards
towards the field.
the field.
You're like, if any
if
window's
there's-
breaking,
yeah.
I don't want to replace the front window.
Exactly. So there's always that thought process. I've been to a lot of baseball games,
Yeah.
so that's always running through my head.
Growing up, of course, we just lived at the Little League field.
Mhm.
Growing up, I was the youngest of three boys, especially, and we were all on different teams. So,
Mhm.
so Saturdays, that's just where we existed, was the Little League field. And I don't know how many dents my parents' car got over those years from baseballs hitting that car,
Yeah.
because there wasn't really anywhere to park besides just right next to the field.
Yeah.
And we had a few baseball-sized dents in that car.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah. And they weren't from us,
Yeah.
obviously.
You know, it's funny. You talk about Enterprise. We were up there about 4 years ago for a freshman game when Landon was a freshman. And they had this trailer behind home plate, well, between the fence and the backstop and home plate, where they sold freshly baked cookies and brownies and all that kind of stuff. And it was delicious.
Yeah.
I went over and got a couple of things from it. But somehow there was a foul ball that was hit. And I can't remember if it went over the fence and then, because that fence is pretty tall behind home plate, isn't it? At Enterprise?
It's set back really far.
It is set back far.
But it's not too high.
It's not too high.
It's actually not too high, but it is set back really far.
Somehow it got through the fence or went over the fence. You would think that trailer would have been parked in a pretty good spot, but the perfect foul ball was went in, hit one of the windows in that trailer, that little camp trailer where they were selling stuff out of. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is bad luck.
That's about as perfect of a foul ball
But
as you could possibly
I do
get.
remember that going up there when Landon was a freshman and seeing that happen.
You know, that field gives you a false sense of hope because the baseball field is elevated quite a bit. It's
Mhm.
probably about, about 8 to 10 feet above where the parking lot sits.
Mm-hmm.
And you do park somewhat close to the field. Not too bad. You feel like, hey, a foul ball, you might be far enough away. But because it's set lower, the foul balls travel just a little further than you think they would.
Yeah.
And there's been many a car hit over there at Enterprise Field as well. So throw that on the list of fields in
for
southern
sure.
Utah that you need to be careful where you park.
For sure.
So, all right, let's take another break, shall we?
Yes.
And more when we come back. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about besides baseball.
Like a little jaw?
A little bit of jaw. And we're not talking about the body part on the bottom of your face. We're talking
little
about the
jaw.
person. That's coming up next here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports. Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
We welcome you back in, Mark. Let's talk a little Josh, shall we?
Yeah, kind of a crazy story. So today, John Morant filed a countersuit against this high school basketball player that apparently they got into a little scruffle a while back, and they were suing Ja.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. Let me just pull this up so I don't misquote this. So Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm getting this from CBSSports.com. This was a story by James Herbert of CBSSports.com. I want to make sure I give the correct credit. Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies has filed a countersuit against Josh Holloway, the high school basketball player involved in an incident during a pickup game at Morant's house last July, as first reported by the Daily's Memphian's Drew Hill. So this is what happened first. John Morant and his mother Micah sued Morant and Devontae Pack, one of Morant's friends, on his behalf, alleging that they repeatedly punched him in the head and face. Even after he had fallen to the ground, Holloway's mother also pushed for Morant to be charged criminally. But the Shelby County Sheriff's Office shelved the case, citing lack of evidence. Okay, so there's just that claim. And I'll be honest, normally I've got an opinion on what I think happened. This story, I'm really not quite sure what and who I believe. So,
right.
So they're suing him. They're suing him. So this is what Ja Morant is claiming. That he intentionally threw a basketball at his face, which could have ended Morant's career. Okay. He walked aggressively toward Morant with his fists clenched as if he were about to hit him. Threatened to return Morant's house and light it up like a fireworks show as he left. He threatened Morant again in a Snapchat post. He lied to police about Morant flashing a gun, violated a court order by leaking details of a sealed case to the media. So, sounds like this kid, I'm leaning John Morant. I'm leaning towards that side of the case because, again, I know it's a Snapchat post, but I wonder if they screenshot that before it disappeared, or
I mean, if you're posting stuff on Snapchat, that's not very smart. I'm just saying.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this kid doesn't sound too bright in anyways, but he caused Morant to be subjected to castigation and ridicule, and made him suffer both personal humiliation and impairment of the character and reputation that he has worked for years to build in the Memphis community, while making him more circumspect. These are words that I don't use when dealing with the media. And he cost Morant money by hurting his chances to make an all-NBA team this season. Now that I don't know if that would come into play. Why would that come into play, that all-NBA team?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways,
That's just speculation.
And I know that some of this is obviously when you put a court case together, you're going to stretch
Put
things
as much as you possibly can, pack it in there. Yeah.
But yeah, kind of an interesting story. I don't know really what side, because here's the thing too. I have a hard time believing that a high school player, not that it can't happen, I have a hard time believing that a high school player would be that aggressive towards an NBA player, an NBA superstar too.
Now, if it's a high school player that looked like Zion Williamson did back in high school, then understandable. That kid was a tank. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
but
you
still,
have
this is Ja Morant, a superstar in the
Ja
NBA.
Morant is not a big guy.
Well,
He's not.
Take the size of the man away. It's just that it's Ja Morant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I
then
mean, it could be.
But then again, if you do try to make up a story that the press believes, and you are, that's the kind of person to go after, because he's got the money for it. But then on the flip side as well, what happens when he starts to fight back through the law?
Yeah,
right?
and I
because
know
now he's got the money to pay for the good lawyers and the influence and that kind of stuff.
And I know that NBA players and NFL players, baseball players, they do have targets on their back for lawsuits and stuff like that.
Sure.
They really do. I
It
mean,
happens all the time.
They've got deep pockets, and they're, sometimes
Public figures.
Yeah, they're public figures. Sometimes they can be an easy payday for people.
And they travel a lot, so they're out and about. And when they're out of town and not that this case was, but there have been plenty of situations where
this
it's
is
like
Morant's house.
Yeah, where they are traveling out and about, and you do have to go out on the city. 'Cause sorry, but you can only do so much from just chilling in a hotel room, right? I mean, you can just sit there and order room service the whole time, but
obviously they would have probably known each other if he gets an invite to.
yeah, they have to
I
know each
didn't
other a
say
little
there was an
bit.
invite to his house, but how else would this basketball player get in a pickup game at Morant's house?
It's not like the good old days where you knock on the neighbor's door and say, "Hey, can I shoot hoops on your
Exactly.
basketball hoop in your driveway?"
Exactly.
No one's just going up to Ja Morant's house being like, "Hey, can I play on your basketball court?
Right.
You want to come play with me?"
Yeah.
Like, no, they know each other, or at least they knew each other somewhat, or some party somehow someone knew Ja Morant.
Yeah. And
Right?
that being said, I think Ja Morant is a piece of work, but
Yeah, he's got his own things going on.
I don't know where I'm leaning on this case.
I don't know either, because it's messy.
Because they're
It's messy.
both like way out there. I mean, he claims that Morant and his buddy, or she claims, and him too, claims that, he was down on the ground and they were punching him and kicking him in the face. I mean, that's pretty.
That's brutal.
That is brutal. And then the stuff that Morant claims that he did.
But
I don't know.
even still, if they were punching and hitting and stuff, it's like, okay, well, bruising exists.
Yeah.
So that would be a thing.
And again,
right?
I don't know if there was a police report. I don't know if there was medical.
Well, I think there was a police report, because the police, that's one of the things, is that, what did it say in there? That he violated a court order by leaking details of his case.
That's very true. Yeah.
So he definitely talked to the police. There should have been.
So the high schooler isn't very
Stuff.
bright.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously they're posting about it on Snapchat.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
so I don't know who to believe. And maybe a little bit from both sides is true. Sometimes that's usually what it is the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? You got to find where the middle ground is, because that's usually where the truth lies.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know where the truth lies in this situation, though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, anyway, interesting story to keep an eye on.
yeah, for sure. Grizzlies going to be taking on the Lakers in the first round. That game is set right now for Sunday, April 16th, 1 o'clock will be game one.
Mhm.
We're still waiting. So yesterday we had a couple of games.
Yeah.
So you had the Bulls beat the Raptors, and what's coming out of that game, the story that is so funny, has less to do with the game itself and has more to do with DeMar DeRozan's daughter, who anytime one of the Raptors was at the line to shoot a free throw was screaming.
And they missed a lot of free throws.
Funny, and they did not shoot their free throws very well.
I saw that on Instagram this morning.
So, you look at the team stats. They shot 50%.
Oh,
18
my gosh.
of 36 from the free throw line.
What do they normally shoot? Do you have that?
No, I have no idea.
It'd be interesting to see what they actually shoot.
Oh,
but it sounds like
funny.
It sounds like she made the difference of 4 points, though.
And what did they end up winning by?
4 points. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she had more of a difference than that.
You got to make your free throws.
That's
through the distractions.
Now, what did they shoot again?
18 of 36. They missed 18. And to put
that they're a better free throw shooting team than that. They're probably a 70 to 75% free throw shooting team.
The Bulls shot 81% from the free throw line, 81.8. So
good for her. That's awesome.
Had they shot 81%, they would have made an extra 5 free throws at least.
Yeah, at least.
They would have actually made more than that. They would have made about 7.
Mm-hmm.
They would have made about 7.
Again, difference of the game right there.
Yeah.
They need to get her a
contract.
Get her a contract and a seat right there that's hers. Wherever she sat last night, that's where she sits the rest of the time.
They asked DeMar DeRozan after the game. They said, "All right, well, is she going to be on the road when you guys go take on the Heat?" And he's like, "No, she's got school." There's no way that she's coming. She's got to go to school. I told her that she can't come.
Right.
So it's kind of funny sometimes to see these NBA guys and these just pro athletes in general just be dads, be parents, right? And this is one of those moments where it's just kind of funny to watch him be a dad, see his daughter interacting with the game. So anyways, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, Bulls, Heat in Miami. Heat have one more shot. I didn't think they were going to lose to the Hawks, so I would expect the Heat to win this game. But the Bulls already won 1 on the road. Can they win 2?
Yeah, and I remember talking about our NBA kind of predictions at the very beginning of the season. And I don't think we documented them, but I thought the Bulls were going to do a lot better.
Yeah, the Bulls had a rough year.
So, they've got some good players. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine had a heck of a game last night.
Yeah.
They've picked up Patrick Beverly as well.
And that was recent, obviously.
That was recent. Yeah, that was recent. Nikola Vucevic. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Vucevic?
Yeah.
Just say it really fast. Vucevic. Yeah. Alex Caruso, I kind of figured I just remember talking about them at the beginning of the NBA season, thinking that they were going to do a little better. So they've got some good players. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they end up beating the Heat.
Yeah, I thought they had a chance, but again, just a rough season for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the Heat are the better team on paper. They really are. I mean, we'll see though. I don't know, right? We'll see. I think the Bulls could come out swinging tomorrow, and that would be really interesting if the Bulls do end up moving on and making the playoffs. They'll have to go take on the Bucks.
Yeah,
I don't think they're getting through the Bucks, but
right.
It's it's definitely a good story through the first play-in tournament here. And this is what makes the play-in tournament a little fun, is it's just one last thing where it's like, hey, maybe this team that shouldn't have got in is going to get in, because they are one of those teams. The Bulls were the 10th ranked team. In the old system, they wouldn't have even had this chance.
Right.
And now they do.
And
that's
again,
kind of fun.
I
think it's unnecessary, but it's
I
kind
do
of fun.
too. It's money generating. That's it. Again, it just comes down to generating money for those teams that are still kind of in the hunt in this play-in tournament. We talked about concessions earlier in the first hour when it comes to baseball. It's no different in basketball. Concessions is a big thing.
Yeah.
Ticket sales is a big thing. Parking is a big thing. TV contracts, extended TV contracts is a big thing. It's all about the almighty dollar, which it should be, because we are capitalists. That's what it's about.
The United States is a capitalist country.
That's what it's about.
Well, we've already talked about making money in sports by putting people's safety at risk already, right? So you might as well make money in sports by making guys play an extra couple of games.
Yeah.
Might as well, right? Speaking of, the Thunder and Timberwolves are going to face off as well tomorrow, 7:30. That'll be the last of the play-in games. Then we'll have the playoffs actually set. The Thunder kind of doing the same thing the Bulls did. A team that was 10th should not have been there. They go and win against the Pelicans.
God, we talked about the Pelicans too. I thought we kind of liked that team as well.
Yeah, well, and again, it comes down to injuries. Zion just wasn't healthy.
I know.
And even now, Zion is healthy, but he's told the media that he's been struggling with his mental health, right? He feels like he's kind of got the yips. I don't know if you can get the yips in basketball, but that's kind of where he's at, where he's like, I feel good, but mentally, I'm not there. I'm not ready to go play mentally, and so he's been sitting out. And I've from what I've seen online, you have half of the Pelicans fans who are like, look, I'm frustrated, but I get it. And then you have the other half that's like, I'm frustrated and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Why aren't you out there playing if you're healthy?
I mean, my goodness.
So
they had some of their guys really have great games. I mean, McCollum. Now these are the lower scores. McCollum and I don't know how to say that last name. Jonas. I'm going to say Jonas. That's
Jonas
his first.
Valanciunas?
That one. They had 14 and 16 respectively, but then it jumps up. I mean, Trey Murphy III had 21. Brandon Ingram had 30. Herb Jones had 20. I mean, they had some guys that had good games.
Well, and Valanciunas with 18 rebounds.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty nice.
And
You
but
take
then
that.
but then again, you got some players with the Thunder that had some big games too. Dort had 27. Giddey had 31. I'll bet he was giddy after the game. And, and I'm not going to say that last name. I'll say
Alexander.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say Alexander had 32. So those are some pretty good games.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the Thunder have some guys with some pretty good talent. Obviously, you could just call him Shea.
Let's go Shea. Yeah, let's go Shea.
SGA. There you go. He's been having a really good season this year. Really, an all-star season, of course. So to see him and Giddey, you can throw in Dort along with it. Really lead this team to that win. I mean,
So
it's a good win for the Thunder, and this is a team everyone thought would be a bottom 3 team, and they're in the playoffs. So
now
take it.
Now I know they're different positions, but
Yeah.
is Alexander and Giddey? I mean, those are two impressive performances.
Yeah.
Are they kind of? I'll be honest with you. I've never heard of these players.
Really?
Not even in college.
Josh Giddey's from Australia.
Okay.
He's been in the league for 2 years now.
Okay.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has.
But are they kind of
hopped
like
around a little bit.
are they kind of like hidden gems, kind of like Larry Markkinen was this year for the Jazz? I mean, nobody expected that.
I would say that with Shea that he's kind of more of a Markkinen than Giddey is. One of these that has been in the league for a few years now, and just this year has really just come out of his shell and blossomed.
Okay.
So yeah, I would definitely say that he's that way. Josh Giddey, he was drafted by the Thunder with I want to say he was the 5th overall pick a couple years back. Something like that. He was a pretty high pick. So they had a high upside for him. He's played pretty well, and he has his moments. He's a little streaky, but he definitely has his moments. He's the future, though. He's part of the future of the Thunder, of what they're wanting to build. So,
Okay.
I really do like his game. I think he fits a certain mold, depending on what that mold is, but it's working right now for the Thunder at times. Again, this is a team that's just very young. Their average age is 23 years old. If you were to combine everyone's ages and average it out, they're 23 years old. That's not a very old team at all.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to be able to be in the position that they're in right now is huge. It's huge. So you take that anytime you can get it.
Right.
So yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I was looking at his stats, by the way, SGA's stats from his career. So he started drafted by the Clippers in 2018. And his average points per game was 10, 19, and then he hopped up to 23 back in 2020, and he stayed pretty high. And then this year he's up to 31.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's been good, but this year he really took that leap from 24 up to 31. And like I said, his blossom has been more noticeable than Markkanen's has. Markkanen's really was he just shot up out of nowhere.
Right.
So his has been more of a gradual, So at least based off the stats there, and
for sure,
and the eye test.
And that's what I was wondering, just because Markkanen, given the chance, he has really blossomed this year and looks to be a corner piece for the Jazz, for the next several years.
Yeah, for sure. Along with some of the other young guys, Walker Kessler is going to be there. Which, by the way, in the exit interviews, and this is kind of telling, exit interviews are not mandatory, right? The Jazz had, I think, 11 guys show up for exit interviews, which is a lot. Which is a lot. And I want to say it was around 11. I could be wrong, but I think it was that many. But you had him show up. Jordan Clarkson shows up. So Markkanen, Kessler, Jordan Clarkson, Ochai Agbaji. Very few people weren't there, right? But the future of the team was there, which is really telling. One of the things that that was talked about Walker Kessler, and one of the things that coach wants him to work on is getting stronger, but not necessarily getting bigger, if that makes sense. They don't want him to lose the athleticism that he's been building, which is, of course, good. That athleticism there is massive, but they don't want him to lose they don't want to lose that, but they still want him to get stronger.
Yeah.
To be able to push up against some of those other centers in the league. So
right.
See if he can do that in the offseason. Should be a good offseason coming up. We'll talk more about drafts and the draft lottery coming up.
They've got a bright future for sure.
Yeah. By the way, if the Timberwolves lose, the Jazz have that pick, by the way. Right now, depending on where the lottery lands them, they're sitting around 13 or so with the Timberwolves pick. They're locked in at number 9 right now, so they could have like the 9th and the 13th. Depending on how the lottery plays out, it could be, I think they have a 20% chance to get the 4th pick in the draft right now. The Jazz do. So
that's pretty good.
Draft lottery's coming up in about 4.5 weeks.
Man, then they got
Something
the
like
NFL draft right before that.
Yep. And then the NBA draft itself will be happening in June.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the
so
lottery,
you have the draft
and then
lottery,
the draft.
and then you have the actual draft. So lots of stuff, man. The offseason is crazy for basketball and the NFL, and right in the dog days of summer of baseball. So let's take a break, shall we?
Yeah.
We got more coming up next, so stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Broadcasting live here on 99.5 and 95.3 in St. George. Don't forget, you can watch the show live over on YouTube as well. Go to the Fan Sports Network YouTube page. You can subscribe. So that way when you get home from wherever you're going, maybe you're just driving in your car, maybe you're going to work, going home, you can still catch the show and watch us.
Mm-hmm.
Now today, Mark, I'm wearing my Golden Knights shirt.
You are. I like it. It's that Knight logo is popping.
It's a good logo.
Mhm.
I wore it because today is their last
Right.
game of the regular season against the Seattle Kraken. That game
Still
is-
one of my favorite
It's a great.
pro team names.
Yeah.
It's top 3.
It's
probably.
pretty, it's
Kraken.
pretty. Seattle
It's awesome.
Kraken. And to go right along with the Mariners and the Seahawks, they just kind of built their own little seaside brand in
Mhm.
Seattle. Kind of like it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that game is at 8:30 tonight, so should be a good one. Both of those teams, obviously, I was gonna say Kraken. The Golden Knights have clinched.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights are in. The Kraken should be in as well. I believe that I don't know if they've clinched, but they will definitely be pushing it to be
Mhm.
there. So, yeah, should be good. So we'll see. We'll talk some playoff hockey as it comes up. So I know both of you and I, we enjoy hockey.
Yeah.
We don't get the chance to really watch it all that often
No,
because
no,
we're
no,
doing
no.
too many other things.
Yeah.
But we follow it close enough.
Yeah.
We try to follow as closely as we can.
I,
so.
I would definitely say I'm a casual fan. I'll catch some
Yeah.
highlights and some scores and stuff like that. I don't sit down and watch from drop of the puck to the end of the horn, but sounds like I should.
It's fun.
I know.
I watch a lot more in the playoffs, so I'm
Yeah,
sure I'll
that's
watch,
when my interest picks up
Yeah.
as well.
I'm sure I'll watch a lot here in the playoffs.
I'm
coming
just a
up, so
casual fan.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyways, yeah, Golden Knights wrapping
Hey,
up the season.
You ever fallen for a scam?
Once in a mall.
Was it one of those kiosks?
Yeah.
Dude, they'll get
I was
you.
like 13 and I was like, how does it work? And
Yeah.
I had to know, so I had to buy the product.
Yeah.
They sold me something that's probably like a quarter for like $5.
I'm surprised. Now that you bring that up, I'm surprised. I have a list here of some scams that people fall for all the time. I'm surprised that the mall kiosk isn't one of them.
Oh, yeah. The mall kiosk was one that I was like,
Those guys are good, too.
I have to know. I have to know what this is. It was a little toy that was one of those things. It's like, look what this toy can do. And I'm like, how does the toy do that?
Yeah.
So I had to buy it.
You know, it was interesting. I bought one of those, same thing, kind of at the kiosk in Las Vegas, at the Las Vegas outlets,
Mm-hmm.
where they had this. You remember those copper type of bracelets, but they were like rubber.
Yeah. The rubber
they're-
ones with like the little thing.
Yeah,
Like the little,
yes, exactly. They were
thing on
supposed
it.
to allow you to be more flexible.
Yes.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Those things were big back in like 2007.
Yeah, that's about when I bought mine.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I remember thinking back because I fell for that one where they said, okay, go ahead and go ahead and stretch and do, twist one. That's what it was. It was twist one way and see how far you can twist. Yeah. So I did that. And then they put this on your wrist. Okay, now do it. You've already stretched out. You can absolutely go farther.
You stretched once, and now they're like, stretch again. But
Caden,
with this.
But Caden, I was like, oh my gosh, I can go. It does make me more flexible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I did fall for that. But here are some scams that people fall for all the time.
All right, let's get to it.
Taking advantage of friendliness and gullibility of older people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, those phone scammers will get the old people.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Talking them into giving up sensitive and valuable information. And sometimes they get grandparents to take action by pretending that their grandchildren are in trouble. So be careful.
Like one of those be like, hey, we have your grandkid. And be
Yeah.
like, which one?
Yeah.
Dave? And be like, yep, that's the one.
Now, here's one here's one I just fell for today.
Uh-oh.
Just today.
What'd you do?
The add a tip line at the end of everything, even when it's
Hate it.
even when there's not a service-oriented purchase.
I hate that one.
Now, I was at a food place today.
Yeah.
But it was one that I walk up to the counter, I order, I pick up my food at the end of the counter, and I go sit down.
Yeah.
I cleaned up my own mess. I mean, they don't,
Yeah,
there's no.
Why are you tipping anybody?
And I
They're
did.
just doing their normal job.
I did. I put a 15% tip on.
I got to say,
It was only $2.50 or whatever it was, but
I've stopped doing that.
I
And
need to.
I feel
I need
bad
to.
every time, but I stopped doing it because I'm like, what are you doing for me?
I know exactly.
You are not
You're getting
doing
paid
any extra service.
You're
than you
getting
would
paid
otherwise.
now $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, that's what places are having to pay now to get people to come to work.
And it's always like, all right, it's going to ask you a question,
Yes.
and then you sign for it. And every single time it pops up. And what's funny is it'll be like 15%, 18%, 20%, or other.
Or other.
And you have to go to other, and then
I
you
know.
can type it in, or it just the default is 0. So
Yeah.
you go other. And it's like the whole process to say I don't want to tip.
Exactly.
It's easier to just say 15%.
Well, that is on my scam list.
Oh, it is a scam.
It's a scam.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I will not be tipping you if you do not deserve a tip.
Amway and other obvious pyramid schemes.
Oh, yeah, those MLMs will get you.
Yeah, the multi-level marketing, but not the one that you're in,
No,
right?
No.
That's not the scam.
No, man. Hey, speaking of which, I have this essential oil that'll be
Right,
really good. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I got some great friends that do that.
Don't we all?
Timeshares.
Oh, yeah. Timeshares could get you.
I
Because
got-
what if you never go to them?
I got sucked into one time
Did you?
too. Yeah, Macy and I it's been a long time. It's been 15 to 18
Be a part
years
of this
ago.
timeshare in
Yeah.
Mexico, and then you're
Yeah.
like, you never go, but you just spent $3,000 to not go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now this last one, you have to do it, but it's really people taking advantage of you. Weddings. Not that the wedding is a scam. Weddings
Sure.
aren't scams, but because of how insanely expensive they can be, and the
Yeah,
businesses
you're telling me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just went through. Businesses take
not fun.
advantage of that.
That's why we had our wedding at a place that we just knew the person and said, "Hey, can we do our wedding here?" And they said, "Yep."
And
then-
that was a nice place though.
It was great.
It really
wasn't
was.
Yeah, it was nice.
But people take advantage of that.
They do.
They take advantage of the situation, and they shouldn't.
Well, it's crazy. You could go. Let's say you go to a venue, and you say, "Hey, we want to rent out your venue for my dad's retirement party."
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So you want it for 4 hours? All right, it's going to be $200.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out a price. Okay, we want to do it now for a wedding.
Yeah.
The event's going to be 4 hours. It is now $1,200,
Right.
or more,
Right,
$3,000.
right.
It all of a sudden just jumps in price because you attach the word wedding to it.
Yeah.
For the same time,
And-
for the same place.
And have you ever bought and then insurance? Some types of insurances. So I'm thinking of the ones where you buy something at Walmart.
Oh yeah, where it'll be
And
like
they-
you buy a vacuum and it'll be like,
Yeah.
you want the 2-year warranty?
Yeah,
on
exactly. Do you want the 2-year? Do you want the insurance on it? And yada
It's
yada
like
yada.
The insurance is as much as the product.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
no, thank you. If it breaks down, I'm just going to come and get another one.
Yeah, it'd be like it's probably going to outlast the warranty
Yeah.
by a long shot, anyways.
So that's another one that it's on this list.
Yeah.
It says some kinds of insurance.
sometimes if I ever do get that though, I don't know what I've got insurance for and what I don't.
Right.
What did I get?
Right. Yeah. And are you going to remember
And
that
what,
you have
and
it?
what does it actually cover in case something
Right.
does go bad? I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. Insurance on
So I
big
just say
things,
no.
obviously, cars and homes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But yeah, the little dust vac that I use, I don't
I know. I bought something recently. Oh, it was just like Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, yeah.
And it was,
Stuff like that. Yes.
It was like a cheap $30 pair. Like, it wasn't even an expensive pair. And it'd be like, do you want the insurance? It costs you $3. I'm like, it was $30.
But it's a scam.
It's fine.
Yes.
Oh, I get frustrated with that.
I know.
Obviously, you can tell. You can hear it in my voice.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up for us for today. Tomorrow, we're going to have some baseball. So stick around with us on the Fan Sports Network.
That's not a scam.
That is not a scam. That's free. You can just sit back and watch the
True.
game with us for
It's very
free.
true.
7:30 right here on the Fan Sports Network, or you can watch it live over on the fansportsnetwork.com. So we'll have that coverage as well. And then, of course, we'll be here live at 4 o'clock From the Bleachers. So thanks for hanging out with us, and have a good one. We'll see you.